This is Action Wrestling News with your lead reporter, CEO Matt Griffin. All right. Breaking news, we are back with Action News Report. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. Welcome, Captain Chunkles. Welcome.
Chunkles?
Chunkles?
Just because I'm
Chunkles?
fat, you gotta call me Chunkles? Jeez.
Chunkles.
Hey, I may have just made a new nickname for you.
Wow.
Awesome. That's all I need. That's all I need is to be called Chunkles.
We're starting off with just straight fire heat.
Yeah, it's been one of those nights, definitely.
As always.
But so, Chunkles, why don't you go ahead and welcome our guest tonight?
Well, it's episode 2. You know who we're with. He might have the same hat on as he had last week. We gave him a different hat in the promo. Of course, it's the CEO of Action Wrestling, Matt Griffin. Welcome again, sir. Back from sunny Tampa Bay.
Yes, Tampa Bay was very sunny. It was great weather, and everything was. It was a good trip. I spent several days down in Clearwater Beach, so I was down there and chilling out, and yeah, plenty. No stress at all this past week. None. Everything was great. Yeah, it was a very good positive week. Very positive week. Sorry.
It was.
I didn't know we could eat because I really wanted to make some pizza rolls, but I wasn't sure what the etiquette was for the news report. If it's bad to eat pizza rolls during a news report, I wasn't sure.
I don't know. We can't do it now because I'd go make my little pizza bagels that I have in the freezer. And
Sure.
If we talk food, man, this is gonna go off.
My show, guys. It's my show.
Yes.
My head. I am drunk with power. No, not yet, but maybe I'll start. Maybe we can pause and I'll go get drunk and then I'll be back. Then the shoot week will start.
Tuesday.
That's okay.
No, I'm kidding. I do all my drinking after like 10:30 at night.
Yes, truth. Our truth. So we got a lot to talk about, but really where we want to start is where you began your conversation. I want to know more about Tampa. Amazing weekend of wrestling. Amazing show. Have fun. Be sad. I think one of the top shows of the weekend. It seemed like it went off without an issue. Everything seemed great. I mean, you had some big names there. You had some up and comers. Just a really great show.
Those damn tacks, though.
Those damn tacks.
Damn tacks.
So I would like for you to know that was the maximum of tax that could be in the match, because I believe $2 stores were bought out by my friend Christina McCoy. She said I got everything that they had. So I knew that there was a copious amount of tax. I did not realize it would literally be swimming in them. So
that image of Nolan dragging Angelus through the tax. If that doesn't trend or become a great meme like that, it was perfect. Great camera work, great work by the two wrestlers. I mean, I don't know how well that was planned prior or if it was impulse, but either way, it was beautiful.
I know the spot was, but I don't think that I don't know that they I don't know how much they discussed or if they discussed with a camera person, but I will say that the IWTV, both on switchers and to get the best camera angle and with the camera work was very good. So if there was going to be a good shot, there was a real good chance we were going to get it. And that's just like some horror movie-ish right there, just getting dragged off into the mist by a monster. And I was very happy to see Angelus Lane get dragged across thumbtacks.
Of course. Although she did say if we spoke ill of her, she would come after us. So, Chris, good luck on Friday when you're down there. I'll be in the safety of my home in central Pennsylvania.
But I didn't say anything.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. She said if Matt said anything bad about her, she was coming after us. So, good luck.
All right, let's move on to the next thing.
Let me tell her that the bald monkeys hate her.
Wait, whoa. Hey.
Time out. Chris hates her.
Wait, hold on. This is getting way off the rails. You know what? I might just call my friend, Casey Catal, and maybe she could defend me because I'm a little afraid of Angela Slane and I don't want to.
Well, Casey Catal's biggest attribute is getting powerbombed onto her husband, which an incredible spot. And I did talk to her and said she was very sore. I got a chance to like her, and I put you guys over, I think, or I buried you. I forget what. It was one of the two. I said you guys are great or suck. I don't remember which. DM her right now and ask.
I'll find out. Yeah.
Chris, get on it.
All right, Chuck, you talk. I'm gonna DM her.
Okay, so I know the show is called Have Fun, Be Sad, but it was really like have fun. I'm sad that it's over. Is really what it should have been. Matt, what was your favorite match from the card? And that's probably a difficult question to ask.
It's a difficult question to ask because I was also working for IWTV and producing some of the other events.
Mm-hmm.
So I was also doing that for my shows. So when I run shows, it's generally, I'm making sure that things go well and letting the wrestlers do their thing, but I'm not able so much to be able to actually see the shows. I made an effort to watch as much of Eric Royal and Daniel Makabe as I possibly could, because that was
artistry.
I mean, it's my champion versus my actual favorite independent pro wrestler, and Dan knows that. I've told him that to his face before. And that's a match that's was supposed to happen 2019 and 2020, and both matches for various reasons got canceled. I had told both of them after it got canceled last year that I wanted to be the one to host it. And so once it got confirmed, I told Ace, I specifically said to Ace that I need you because we're going to be having an event. And I messaged Dan, and Dan was, Dan took a minute because he has to think about it because he has to quarantine. So it's going to be a bigger sacrifice than for most.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm incredibly glad that we were able to do it. It was very well received. I got sent a list today by somebody's favorite matches, favorite 10 matches from the weekend, and it included WWE stuff.
Oh,
and
wow.
3 of our matches from Have Fun, Be Sad were on it. Now, obviously, everything's. I mean, it's subjective. It's favorites list. You could have 2 more lists, and none of them share the same matches. I know there's something like 241 matches at one point that one of the friends of the promotion had reviewed, and he still had more shows to go. But just being in the conversation is important because we've been on IWTV, we streamed, we get good numbers on our VOD shows, and that keeps going up. But to really be a part of the national conversation and not just be a Southeast promotion where the Southeast is not the easiest spot to break out of, that's a big deal. But to me, for sentimental reasons, no matter how good the quality of matches are, it was Daniel Makabe and Eric Royal was going to be my favorite match. So
I did see a note about the tag matches that you guys put on, because there was a note out there on the Twitterverse about how there wasn't a ton of tag matches put on for the weekend.
I did see
but
that.
You guys had 2 on the card.
Yeah, I have no idea how many they had, but it did make me laugh because yes, we had 2. One of them, obviously the showcase match of the event is it's insane to say that it's the Sup Tag Team Champions, Black Label Pro Tag Team Champions, MLW contracted team Violence is Forever, who are the two-time IWTV Tag Team of the Year, and you know, one of the legit, that's legit. They're one of the top teams, if not the top team on the Indies, versus New Japan Real Tag League winners. I forgot the phrasing on that, but New Japan contracted team and Impact Tag Team champions in Finjuice. That match is in just to be able to put that together is insane. Um, and that's a showcase match. And then we're able to do the other match with the Good Hand versus the Command Man Dan and Brett Ice and the Sup OGs, which is something that was storyline driven from the last few action shows. Mm-hmm. So it's good to be able to have both.
Man, you got the bot working for you tonight, because literally, as you said, storyline from the action shows, it pops up that you can go to iwtv live right now and use promo code action and get 5 free days to follow that storyline. So that's good timing there.
Well, I will say just to correct, there's no more 5 free days, because I think a lot of people had probably used a lot of 5 free days with multiple email addresses.
Those bastards.
But please still use promo code action to push, because we still get a piece of it, and that's how they're able to use that to track our reviews a little bit better.
All right, we won't tell anybody about the 5 free days. They'll figure it out on their own.
Yeah.
But they can go to shop.iwtv.com and buy the official Have Fun Be Sad shirt. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. So now, one thing I have a bone to pick, and it's with no one here. It's with no one here at all. But Matt said it. Violence.
Right?
No. It goes back to Violence is Forever, and I mean, Matt, you said it. They're one of the best tag teams around. I mean, Chris and I have both seen it as we've been watching, but I got my this month's PWI magazine, and they still do not have those two men in Violence is Forever in the damn top 10 for tag teams. And it's a damn shame.
They don't?
Nope. It is a damn shame.
I am going to message PWI during this cast.
There we go. I mean, they need to be in that top 10.
That's surprising. Considering what Matt just rattled off as far as their accolades go. I mean, it's a no-brainer in that. So while Matt's messaging, I want to say welcome to the chat from a couple people. We got a new follow in there. What was it? Bumper Shot. Thanks for the follow. I see that we got some celebrities in the chat. We got a Shiny Shoe Ref in the chat. Ref Shiny Shoes hanging out. We got Ron Bass Jr. We got
Ron Bass Jr. Literally, I was able to eat on Thursday for the first time at like 5:30 or 6 because of Ron Bass Jr.
There you go.
I literally walked up to Ron Bass Jr., Robert Martyr, and Aspen Rose and was like, feed me. Because I had literally not eaten like all day.
And we always have to say a welcome and a thank you to one of our favorites. She was on location with you down in Tampa. Val Pancakes in the chat as well, hanging out as usual.
Love Val.
Just bringing all her love down to Tampa. And we are so glad that she got to hang out with you and some of the other Action, Sup, and all the other great IWTV folks down there. So thank you for taking care of Val for us.
Yes.
And welcoming her into the fold.
Well, it was a pleasure to meet Miss Valoria, and we actually, I'm using shoot names now. We actually specifically said, "Oh crap, we didn't take a picture."
Out of all the pictures I saw, we did not have one of that. And Val got a nice shout out during Effie's Big Gay Brunch.
Well deserved.
And exactly. And I think she was a little bit taken aback by it, but just like you said, well deserved. She even got a little chant going at the brunch, so that was nice.
Oh, good.
Now, Matt, other than, of course, have fun, be sad, and I know that you said you were doing a lot of work, while you were down there. Did you have another show that you were either producing, being a part of, or that you just saw that really stood out to you as one that people should go back and rewatch?
As far as I will say that the family reunion stuff, there was a lot of real good stuff there. I'll point out in specific. I thought the best match that was non-death match in that building was Kevin Koo versus Daniel Garcia.
Hell of a match.
Probably the second best match was I think it was right before it with Cabana Man Dan and Derek Neal for the New South title.
Mm-hmm.
Jade Newman and Daniel Makabe from the first show was really good. And there's some other good things right now that's escaping my attention because I saw literally every match that happened in that venue Thursday, Friday, Saturday. There was a lot of good stuff on ICW, but ICW, I think they lucked out. It's just fortunate that the main event on Saturday's show for their new deathmatch title happened to be the best ICW match, in my opinion, all weekend. That was John Wayne Murdoch beating Eric Ryan. That was fucking nuts. I mean, there's literally a picture I took where there's a gigantic blood stain because they'd already done some light tubes and took a bump to the outside, and it's just covered in blood. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's hard to pick just because from memory. But I think if I saw a list, I could probably pick some. There was so much good stuff throughout the weekend though, in that venue, which is nice. It's nice when you have a good variety.
I think the one thing that we have to mention though is the weekend that Nolan Edward had.
That dude was everywhere. Everywhere.
I think it was 12 matches total. I think was the final count. And honestly, I don't know how he got out of match 2 or 3. The beating he was taking in the first couple
matches. He's very, very tough. And I'll give another shout out to Ron Bass Jr., his Dirty Orphan gang cohort. I know that they're very close, and Ron was instrumental in and as were others, like Heater, and just making sure that they helped him be able to like literally stitch up his wounds so he could go do it again. And all that was appreciated. I mean, the fact that we have some people who don't always necessarily get on camera, but make it easier to do our jobs. I mean, literally sometimes it can just be like, all right, bring me a glass of caffeine so that I can keep going. Mm-hmm. Just because there's no option. Mm-hmm. And they were really good friends to Nolan, and he puts forth a maximum effort every match that he can. It's not going to be talked about as much, but Nolan's match with TJ Crawford on the Tony Deppin's Beer House show is very good too. And I just say it's not going to get talked about just because he had so many key matches. And this wasn't a death match, but it was very good. Showed TJ Crawford off well to let him make a good impression. Also, I believe it was another great one was I had never seen Charles Mason before, and I believe it was him and Daniel Garcia at the Deppin's Beer House show.
Yep, Garcia Open Challenge, and
yeah, that was a fun show as well. And it's hilarious. Tony Deppin gets to just chug beers in the ring during the show. I mean,
in a banana shirt.
It's appropriate though because we're in a brewery, so it would kind of be insulting if you didn't do that.
Yeah, and I have a bone to pick with who I call lovingly Scott Hennessy.
All right.
Endlessly trying to get the cheap pop of that the bar was open.
Excuse me. Would you like to know who fed him that line?
I would love to know who fed him that line.
Come on,
I mean, cheap plug.
It was absolutely So we kept doing it. It was a cheap heat pop, and it was funny.
But
It came into play, if you recall, right before the Nolan and Angeles match, because the bar was definitely open during that match.
Yes.
He and Jesse did a tremendous job in the ring.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just lights out. Everybody was lights out down there for that stuff. And you mentioned the IWT. We mentioned the camera work. The camera work there was phenomenal, phenomenal all throughout the entire weekend. And it's something that, you know, if you watch other places, you feel like you're banging your head against the wall because the camera cuts 37,000 times in about a half a second. But it's nice to actually be able to see what's actually going on in the ring for more than like a half a second period without the camera changing.
Yeah, it's important because you need to be able to predict, and you also need to have a camera, because if you have a camera person who is not on the ball, it doesn't matter how good somebody is at switching camera, you're never going to be able to see it. They're never going to get the shot anyway. So I was real happy because there were certain points on the stage I was able to see what was the images that were going out on the live stream. And sometimes I would just turn on my phone and follow along because there's a slight delay on the stream. So it'd be interesting. I can see something in the ring and then might be 20 or 30 seconds later on the stream.
What was the general feel down there of all the fans and, you know, everybody kind of coming together? You know, how was that, you know, down in Tampa?
We knew it was not going to be like it has been in years past, but knowing that, especially after the first family reunion, where we could basically tell that there's a lot of interaction online, we knew that no matter what, we do have fans here, we do have a lot of fans at home, and everyone specifically, you had some wrestlers who only had matches on Thursdays. Sometimes match wrestlers only had matches on a Friday or a Saturday, so they didn't have a whole weekend slate. I mean, we had several who only had one match on the weekend that were on the Action Sub show. So they are going to maximize everything they can to really show out, because you never know who's watching, but you can be guaranteed that definite decision makers are watching. I mean, I'm a booker, and I'm watching the wrestlers that I'm not familiar with, and getting to know them. And I mean, I can definitely say that in 2019, when I saw what happened at the Collective, that impacted our 2019 going forward. And that's going to be the exact same for 2021, 2022, whether it's Action, SCI, or any of the other things that I might have a hand in. It's about building partnerships and being a part of this IWTV universe. It helps us. It helps the wrestlers. But I think that's the vibe. Even if there were no fans, you would have still had wrestlers working really, really hard.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So before we leave the weekend, I just want to touch on one thing. You mentioned a match that maybe not everybody was talking about with Nolan Edwards. Is there a match from the weekend that stands out to you that people need to go back and watch and rewatch that maybe we're not talking about? Somebody that really impressed you, like you said, as a booker, that maybe people should take a second look at right
now? I really liked the. I think Daniel Garcia probably is on a lot of people's radars. I know that he had some moments at other venues. He had a straight up banger with Kevin Koo. He had the match, and he had God, I can't remember who he had in ICW, but he had an ICW match in the Chains on Thursday that was also really good. And Charles Mason, he should be on some. He's definitely on my interest list. Oh gosh, this is really hard because my memory sucks to begin with, and you know that.
I do.
If you put me on a spot without having results.
No lead in, no work. Nope. Just put him on the spot. Too funny. All right, well
Yeah.
that's good.
But
It's always interesting to hear like. Go
but
ahead.
Dylan Hales versus the pizza was also very interesting.
I
And
heard about this pizza.
yeah, well, I'm eating keto, so I can't have pizza. It was very very unfortunate then. But shout out to Mouse and Billy Stark's mom who fed me on Saturday. Chipotle. I had Chipotle twice on Saturday, which was fun.
Yeah, I saw that you announced it to the world. That you did.
Yeah, Anthony Henry was very proud of me.
Yeah. All right, I want to say thank you for the sub. I think who subbed on us there? Was that Bumper? Yes, Bumper Shot. Thanks for subbing with your Prime. You could use Prime for free and sub. I appreciate that. Anything we make goes straight to that guy down there. Any sponsorships we do, any things we do with indie wrestling goes right back to him. So appreciate that. Now let's move on from the weekend. We could talk about the weekend for hours, but we got to move on. What's next? What's coming up? It's a live show. It's in Tyrone, Georgia. It's this Friday.
Friday. Third anniversary show.
Third anniversary show. And oops, we forgot to get an anniversary present.
My direction when designing the graphic to Cody Wynn, our ace designer, he's been designing our stuff from day one, was I want the stupidest name possible. We're gonna get better at that. We're gonna have a lot stupider names coming up too.
Awesome. So we're gonna work down the list a little bit, and in no particular order other than what I've written down and we have discussed prior. But let's talk about the first match on my list here is Bobby Flacco, and I hope I'm saying his first name right, Brogan Finley.
You are.
Okay. So Bobby Flacco's been in a lot of tag matches recently with Rob Killjoy, Rob and Bob, which we've enjoyed. Had a little tension going on. You know, they even had a little tension in that scramble match in Tampa. But now Bobby's on his own, and he's taking on, I believe, a debuting Brogan Finley in Tyrone.
Yes, Brogan's only had a couple matches, and what I did see, he is very far beyond his what his experience level would suggest. And he came to the show Friday, and we had something I definitely wanted to take a look. But he was at Have Fun Be Sad with his brother, so we were able to make a deal to do it, and I'm excited about it because he's got a lot of potential. He's really got a lot of potential, and of course he has a great bloodline and family history. So the genetics are there, and Bobby, of course, has been a fan favorite for us for 2.5 years or so.
Do you envision Bobby as a bit of the gatekeeper of action wrestling?
Yes. I mean, we've used that terminology. I mean, myself, I've used that word to describe Bobby. Not so much Dylan Hales. I don't know if Dylan really believes in gatekeepers in wrestling.
Gotcha.
But yes, Bobby definitely is a gatekeeper. If you can't have a good match or get over in something with Bobby, it's probably not going to work out.
Dylan is not happy with that. There's a lot of expletives in the chat right now.
About what? I just told the truth.
There's an A, an L, an
there's
S,
a semicolon in there.
Semicolon. I think it's called a niner.
He can't even spell.
The punctuation is flying in the chat right now.
I can't read any of that. Maybe he just sat on his phone. I don't know.
We should probably move on to the next match before more expletives start flying.
So the next match, we got, of course, one of my favorites. I love his theme song. I love the intro. I love the guy, Alex Kane, the suplex assassin. He's given a ticket to Brandon Williams to come to the island. Now, is this also Brandon's debut with Action as well?
It is. Brandon's he's out of New South.
Yep.
Over in Alabama. And I mean, his Twitter handle is, I believe, Hook and Stretch, which is definitely indicates that he's going to have a banger with Alex. But we are definitely interested in building strong. That's part of what the last weekend was about. But building strong relationships with other promotions, especially ones on IWTV that we can all gain from.
Mm-hmm.
And we've never had Brandon on our card, and thought this would be a good scenario to take a look. He's a good guy, and I want to see what happens. I mean, Alex Kane, I can envision a couple months of Alex Kane being a gatekeeper, just like not Dylan. I mean, I described Bobby as being so.
And
I,
Alex is still on a hot streak. He's still putting W's in that column. So it's going to be an interesting one, I think.
the,
I
big question is how many suplexes will be in that match. Because he hasn't
Dylan,
gotten to the double digits yet.
Nope.
he has not. No, has he? And I know those signs. Well, you would know better than me, Chris, but those signs do go up to double digits.
They do.
So we'll see. We'll see what the suplex counter says. What is that a prediction that he's going to hit 7, or is that or 25?
That is a prediction of 7.
Okay, I couldn't tell if you're
7.
doing. I couldn't tell if you were doing 25.
True. I could see that. I could see that.
I am going to make a prediction that he is not going to hit double digits, and that it's not because Alex Kane is not able to hit double digits. I just think that is coming at a bigger moment for the suplex assassin, because it needs to have the right moment to really hit that. Yeah, he just hit double digits, and not just double digits, but like 10 different suplexes, because that guy comes up with so many different suplexes. He's been using a couple now as his finisher, which have been 2 different ones. So very interesting. All right.
Yeah,
No more.
you never know what position. You never really know what position when you get hooked that you're going to be. Yeah, you're going to be thrown. You just don't know at what angle and how hard the landing's going to be.
We got predictions.
Shiny Shoe says 11.
11 from Shiny Shoes. John Miller saying only 5. Cooper coming in with 8. Kind of all over the board right now.
All of these are numbers.
What if he went out with 0? What if no suplexes?
Well, no, he would have to hit 1. He would at least have to hit 1.
Well, you saw
to stay in the W column.
You saw that against O'Shea. He had a very tough time even getting to 1. Very tough time.
Yep. All right, so let's get to the next.
Somebody Alex Kane helped himself this weekend. He was in the Big Starks brand match at Family Reunion. He beat Brian Keith from Texas, who had an impressive showing there. I believe he also did well at FTC and the New Texas show, which is New Texas. And just for an example, we met the New Texas promoter, and we started talking, and we're going to build a relationship with them. And we've already been talking for the weekend. So that's just an example of like some of the things that we have in mind with working and getting to know other groups and sharing knowledge, sharing talent. But yeah, apparently that they had a nice show that'll be on IWTV this week.
Yep, New
Thursday night
show,
at 8 p.m. Is what I just remembered.
Yeah,
and that win.
What I just read.
Yeah, that win that Alex had over Keith, I was happy that Alex got the win, but I didn't expect that to happen. I thought that might be Alex's first loss in a while, and I mean it was a great match on both sides.
Yeah, I did catch that one a lot. So Brian Keith only had the 1 match in the IWTV venue, but just like TJ Crawford and Charles Mason that I mentioned before, he did stand out. He did stand out in that match.
One.
Yeah.
Can I go to the next one? I wasn't sure because Matt's talked over me like yes. Twice. It's his show, so I'm just waiting for him to give the okay.
Rookies. Yo, do you even own a podcast?
How do you own a podcast?
My show.
Yeah.
My show.
See, he's got the hat.
I have the hat on. It's my show.
So this is not the point of the show where we ask for questions in the chat, but I'm going to do it anyway. Somebody asked if Nick Hogan is on the card.
If who?
Nick Hogan is on the card.
Nick Hogan we're saving for surprise appearance.
Okay.
We did have Nick Hogan booked for the surprise show in January, but I felt without Dylan Hales there to announce him, he'd be wasted. So we canceled it, got our deposit back. So
little fancy announcement. That's cool. Okay.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. On to bigger and better things. We have Ashton Starr returning after a loss to Cabana Man Dan to take on another returning wrestler in CT Keys, which, holy cow, really excited. We got to announce this match the other night and really excited for these two to take on each other. One of them should come out of here with a win streak, and it's going to be a tough one. CT Keys had a really good showing in a scramble match. I think it was 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, he made
where do we go from here with these two?
Yeah, CT made his action debut at No Easy Way Out. So he debuted in action live on iwtv, which is not the easiest spot to do, because you know that people are watching and reacting in real time. So there's a situation there where somebody can rise up to the occasion or shrink, and he rose. So he definitely earned a chance to come back. Ashton Starr, of course, has been around a little bit longer, and Ashton had himself a nice weekend. He was in the Butch v. Gore match at Family Reunion, and then he did, I believe, I did the Effie's show, and I know he had some other stuff that he did. But there were reviews that were really good on him. So I don't know. Sometimes I like to make matches and see what'll happen. And this is absolutely one of those cases because Ashton's a bit quicker, CT is a bit stronger. So, it's fun and interesting as a booker to be able to put a match out there that you're like, I have no idea what it'll do. So let's find out. And I say that a pretty decent amount. Like I have no idea how somebody may react. Some guy, it happens. Some wrestlers wilt under pressure. We have guessed correctly that wrestlers would rise to the occasion a lot. So CT Keys did it once. Let's see if he can do it again.
Well, next we got tag team wrestling. Everybody loves tag team wrestling. And we got the Skulk coming back yet again. Now facing another team that we've seen a couple of times, or a couple of guys that we've seen for a little while in King Garuda and Takuri. It's an interesting match when you look at it. And I can't wait to see what outfit Garuda and Takuri have on this time, because they both come out with some crazy outfits.
Yeah, as a phrase I just learned this weekend is they have really nice fits.
Oh,
shout out to Aspen Rose.
My daughter says that all the time.
Yeah, I just learned what that meant from Aspirin at Aspen. I think I just said Aspirin. But I learned from her at Applebee's on Thursday what that meant. Yes.
I asked the chat, and I'm curious on your take also. What's the over under for Skulk in their entrance breaking 5 minutes?
Did you like to walk around?
Well, basically that Liam and Adrian know that there's not a second show, so there's a definite possibility if they think about it and realize it in the next few days that they may just. I mean, first of all, that one of the most interesting feuds in action is Liam Gray versus one of the LDI kids. See if Liam can tear up one of their posters. So
well-crafted posters.
We'll have to figure out how we're going to pay that off.
And what poster will they bring to the show on Friday? That's always going to be interesting. But two great tag teams.
I may or may not have sent some pictures to our friends at LDI for pictures. So, and if I said that I definitely did.
Shiny Shoes already hears it in the earpiece, I think he's saying right now, about how long the entrance is taking.
Why is Dylan giving away our future angles in the chat? Scrub that. Delete it from the internet.
Rips a poster and flash paper. It explodes in his face. I mean, hey, those LDI kids, I mean, they're no joke. So the last match we have on the list of things we know right now is obviously one of the biggest stories going right now in Action Wrestling. We have, again, another returning Alan Angels and your former Action Champion, AC Mack. And it's not just a regular match, right? It's a last man standing match because there is a lot of bad blood in this match right now. So let's talk about what's led up to this and how a match like this is even sanctioned for what we expect to be something that's going to be pretty brutal.
Well, you know, Alan had some chicanery trying to fake an injury last time. So I think what was going on in AC's head when he made the challenge is that if it's a last man standing match, he can't fake an injury again. Because if he does and he stays down, he loses.
Mm-hmm.
And Alan Angels, if you've noticed, he doesn't like to lose. You know, and the reason that AC is not your champion now going on 800, almost 900 days is specifically because of Alan Angels.
Yep.
You know, in
Taking
February.
his leg out. Yep.
Yeah, right live on IWTV, which is in the archives on the Action channel on IWTV. Use promo code ACTION.
Nothing free, but use promo code ACTION.
Yes.
That was very smooth. I'm very proud of how I inserted that in there.
That was good. That was good.
That was a very good segue.
So we got Shiny Shoes lobbying to ref that match. He says he has the best 10 count in the South.
Well, that just means he can count 10 in numerical order. So,
and Tiffany's also hanging out in the chat. Everybody say, "Hey, Tiffany!" Nice and loud. She's gonna sit and love on Nolan Edwards. She said, but that's not somebody we're talking about right now, Tiffany. But we can segue into Nolan Edwards because after Friday, something big that came out, something that's been announced, something's back. Matt, what's back? August.
Slim Shady? Oh, I mean, if you're talking about what completely shook up the independent wrestling world yesterday, was the announcement that the Scenic City Invitational will be returning in 2021. So yes. we're excited. The deal was actually first discussed after the last TWE show a couple weeks ago. And we had a few proposals and a few conversations, and it came together fairly quickly. And so we're going to have we are going to have it at the TW Arena. Right now in our COVID times, it's tough to run schools. Plus, we had 2 cancellations in January and February 2020 of high school shows that neither of those were even, I mean, both of those were weather related, not actual COVID related. So right now we figure that for safety in a building that we have access to and can control, that would be the best option. It'll be easier to enforce safety standards. You can check out TW's most recent show on IWTV from a few weeks ago. Spoiler: I'm in it, managing my protege Aaron Wade as he makes the Aaron Wade Open Challenge. But you can see, was that?
He's the best around.
Yes, you can't keep him down, and he always respects his surroundings. But we just figured that would be a good way to make sure we're able to continue the brand, have good shows. What gave us hope was how good the TW show was attendance wise and crowd reaction wise in March when they came back, and that when we did our SCI Future show, which was at 2:00 on a Saturday, which is not something that's usually run. There was a nice crowd. There's some people who came in from out of town. So we think that there's a lot of good positive upside. We should have, most people who want a vaccine to be able to get one. We are still going to, be safe, and that'll be easier in our own building without fear of being shut down. So we're pleased about it. We already have some sponsors like the Bald Monkeys on board. Yes, if you guys forgot, I just announced you as a sponsor, so you owe money.
and, and Q Action Cat immediately when the money and the sponsorship.
And she is coming in. She is, of course, the I'm just a promoter. She is the booker of Action Wrestling, and she's very pleased, as you can tell. Nope, she's done.
She's done.
She's out of here.
And about how Friday will go. Friday's an interesting show. We kind of discussed Friday possibly not doing it because of, coming right off of Tampa. We discussed doing it, and we decided to do it as a 3-year fan appreciation deal. And we lowered ticket prices, and we still really want to have a show and to get it up on iwtv and just really hammer home everything. But yes, we're excited about SCI. I mean, the only, it just came back last night, and there was a lot of interest. I never do this, but I literally did turn my phone off last night for several hours so that I would not be bothered, because there were many DMs, private messages, texts, tweets, subtweets, and so on.
It went off
there was
the rails.
A lot of buzz, yeah. And I think they said every Monday and Wednesday up to the show, I think they're announcing a new entrant into it, if I remember correctly.
You do. We are, because we like to have the field out and to be able to announce matches. Normally, we are announcing people by now, but especially Mondays and Wednesdays, we think is a good spot to catch everybody up. And
so tomorrow, set your notifications, because there'll be another one out tomorrow, everybody.
Tomorrow, I think it's an interesting one. Scott Hensley tweeted today. It's somebody who has not competed in an SCI show before. I will just say I won't tell you who, but I will give you a quick preview as to the reaction of that wrestler, if I can snatch it real quick. Because when we were very secretive to the point when we booked many of the wrestlers. I just let it hang out there. I did not tell them that it was for SCI, but I said, okay, it's in Chattanooga. It's a Scenic City Invitational, and it said, fuck yeah, dude, that's a legit bucket list thing for me. So that's nice that, when you have something that's important to the wrestlers, let alone the fans, that's kind of a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we're excited.
That really is a big deal.
I mean, we are super excited. Obviously, we will. Well, the hotel's booked. I'm there. I'm already there. Someone's just got to get this guy in a car or on a plane. He's there.
I'm checking.
I heard rumors of Val Pancakes being there. Maybe we can get Tiffany there. I mean, we can take this sucker over as far as I'm concerned. But it's exciting. We have one person who we know is going to be there in Nolan Edwards so far. We'll see who else is going to be there. But what we want right now, what we need right now, is a good Wade story, because that's what the chat is asking.
Oh, I didn't even think you were going that way. Okay.
I'm going.
I'm good with that. I'm going that way
because the chat's asking for it. So we're getting into it.
Seeing those tweets about the car ride, I mean, I was laughing my ass off.
What was going on, Matt? What was going on?
I mean, I'm not sure. So on the drive home, well, let me set the stage. Jaden Newman is driving for about an hour and a half, and Dylan Hales does not drive. And I, with two young boys in the car and me paying for gas, I essentially was refusing to drive. So it was Aaron's turn up, and I would like you to imagine a 20-year-old who doesn't fear like pain or things like that. but he would drive 50 miles an hour, not an exaggeration, 50 miles an hour in the right-hand lane behind a truck. He drove so slow to the point that it was more dangerous for him to drive slow than it would for most people to drive fast. Because everybody, I mean, we were behind vans and RVs and U-Hauls being dragged and all this bullshit. And we're being constantly cars driving by at 75 and 80 miles an hour, just flying by. And then occasionally the steering wheel would do one of these. And you know, on the side of the road where there's the line, and then they've got the little dips, those other little kind of
The rumble strips.
Thunder. Yes, it'll thunder a little bit for you. We found about every one of those that could be found.
Did I see something about a tire change, possibly?
Oh dear God! So apparently there was not only a nail but a slash in the tire. We had to visit the Walmart in Lake City, Florida.
Who was driving? Who was driving at the time that happened? Or
I think Jaden took over because we were all worried about both our safety and sanity. I fell asleep for a good portion, and I woke up in at a Shell station, and I had no idea what was happening, but we were not moving anymore. It was very busy, and our tire was basically flat, so we were attempting to go ahead and inflate it so we could get to a tire store, but it's fucking Sunday in the middle of goddamn Swampwater, Florida. We basically went to the town that the Bundys went to in Married with Children, where they're like, you got the murderer or the man who met Andy Griffith. That's where we were. We passed a baseball field that had those banners attached to the outfield that had just never been taken down, that were just about practically white because they'd been rained on and all the printing had come off. Yes, this was a desolate, lonely place, but the Walmart Tire Center was open, so it was heaven. And we walked to Starbucks and waited to hear. And then right after we're about to get to the car, Aaron Wade just disappears for 10 minutes. Where all three of us are sitting in the car, and Wade's in there buying shit. Fucking at the Walmart that we'd already been at for, another half hour on the second time.
Do you know what the grocery list was that he came out with?
Also, at one point, Wade said this: do you ever disrespect your surroundings? And it is not a thing that any of us knew what the hell it meant. Y'all ever disrespect your surroundings? And we couldn't get him to explain it because he obviously does not know what it means. So this is the reason that at TWE, when we come out together, I am the one who speaks on the microphone. Because I also am an idiot, but an idiot with a little more clarity. Oh, and he just randomly in the middle of conversations asks about different wrestlers. You're talking about like a TV or show, something like that, and he's like, "So who had a better WrestleMania match?" And just shit not connected at all.
He's like a cat following a flashlight out of nowhere.
Maybe Angelus Lane broke him at Action. I don't know.
It's possible.
That could be true.
It's very possible.
Entirely possible.
What was his reaction like to New Jack?
What?
His Aaron's reaction to New Jack.
It was something along the lines of, do you think that we would get in trouble if we went into the ring and shot on New Jack? At which point, it was, Dylan, correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but it was something along the lines of, what if we did this and you just stare through him? But his reaction to New Jack when the music came out was, he loved New Jack.
That's hilarious. And
which is great because he might have been the only person in the building who did.
Yeah, he said he danced on the table to New Jack's music, and then said, "What if we hit the ring
That boy ain't right.
Wow.
He's basically Bobby Hill from King of the Hill. Yeah, there was one time on the way back, and I won't say who it was, but the conversation was nowhere near. He's like, "So what's everybody think of, this wrestler? It's independent wrestler." It was just so random. It came the fuck out of nowhere. It's like, what are you thinking of? And I didn't see it, but apparently he glitched on Wednesday night. We went over to set up, and he was just at one point just standing there staring off into the distance. They were trying to catch the Matrix up, and he was glitching.
Yeah, he was frozen in time. So, a lot of convo. I know we didn't want to hold you too long tonight. We've already been hanging out an hour. I just want to ask one more question. I'm not trying to pry and find out what other matches are coming Friday, but
See,
Yes,
you
you
say
are.
that.
it's
Yes,
a
you
one.
are.
No. It's one
you
show. It's one show. I just want to be aware of how many more matches are potentially coming on the card.
I don't even know how many I've announced yet. How many have been announced?
5. It's one show, so I mean, I understand.
I think it's either 2 or 3. I don't remember. I got to write everything down. I'll tell you what. I'll give you a Bald Monkey exclusive. How's that? We are going to be having a match between the debuting son of Bull Buchanan. We're going to have Ben Buchanan, who you last saw at the Action SCI Future Showcase Tournament. He's on the poster, but he will be squaring off against one of the few wrestlers in the state of Georgia who is taller than him in Logan Creed.
Oh big man.
So I'll give you that right now, and the graphic should theoretically drop tomorrow if I remember to ask our ace graphic designer for it.
Another big man match for Logan Creed, another ring breaker possibly. So exciting. I will prepare myself for third row Logan Creed when he dives over the rope and I become first row Chris.
Yeah, there's a reason I put the chairs very far back, and then I notice lots of times the front row scoots closer, and I make sure they know what they're in for.
I don't move. I just wait for Logan to just stop at the third row and just
because you're in the third row. You're like 20 feet from the ring, and he's in your lap anyway.
Yeah,
that front row. Hey, I grew up going to ECW events, so I mean, the first ECW event I ever went to, Tommy Dreamer gets like atomic dropped on the guardrail, and he's like selling his balls, and he turns over, and he's just like, "Move, get out of the way." So we take a step back, and then Sabu is like vaulting over the top rope at him, and they crash to the ground. So I learned a lesson that day: move people the fuck out of the way.
Move, get out the way.
Yes.
Ever been to SeaWorld? It's called the Splash Zone. Very nice, shiny shoes. Good job.
There you go.
So Matt, I don't want to hold you too much longer. I know we got a show Friday.
Yep, Friday.
But we also have a couple of other things coming up in the future for Action as well that's already been mentioned as far as dates go.
We do?
I believe you had posted. There's a poster inside Tyrone, Georgia, in the rec center.
Oh yeah, we'll be back on May 14th, Friday, May 14th. Hey, Dylan, there's only from this past weekend I can't hardly eat shit. This is like keto granola. There's like nothing in it.
Yeah.
It's like almonds and coconut.
As long as things are good for you, you can eat as many bags as you want.
Well, I can't because I'll eventually catch up on carb, but there's like nothing I can eat. We had Dylan's a vegetarian, and I'm eating just like meat and cheese and bacon and things like that. So how fun was it for us when we all went out to eat?
That sounds terrible.
I mean, it was hilarious when we went to a Buc-ee's because Wade and Jaden assured us it was great. It's not. Buc-ee's are fucking stupid. but neither Dylan or I could like find anything to eat. Neither of us could.
Damn.
Yes, we're both on like diametrically opposite. We diets. We got May 14th. We got June. I think who's Bumper Shot?
Bumper Shot's a new subscriber.
Hey, how's it going? We got June 25th, maybe.
Yep, that's right.
Yep. See, this is Dylan's biggest utility. We joke about it is remembering the shit that I can't. We will be off in July, and then we have back-to-back weekends of the Scenic City Invitational, which will be August 6th and 7th, and then action on August 13th. And we do have some talent lined up for various events that will not be discussed.
Of course.
Yet, because I may have booked them for another show, or who knows. I'm very bad at things. But that's why sometimes I'll book dates way in advance and be like, okay, I did book you and forgot. There's a running joke with Sean Dean that because I wanted Sean Dean on shows, I would always write his name down. But sometimes I would be really bad. And there's like 2 or 3 shows in a row where I was just like, hey, I'm like, you're on the show, right? And anyway, you're all good. He's like, I guess, because I hadn't announced his match. So he wasn't exactly sure because John Bucky's is terrible. I'm sorry.
I feel like this Bucky slander could get us into a lot of heat right now. I don't know.
I don't care.
I don't even know what Bucky's is.
Super giant convenience store. Just because it's clean. My bathroom at home is clean. Nobody raves about it like they do Bucky's.
As he finishes another bag. He hasn't booked. Shiny Shoe says you constantly forget that you haven't booked him.
Shiny Shoes, are you going to be there on Friday? I hope he's there on Friday. I only use 2 refs because there's some referees in the state that are, well, let's just say significantly less good and significantly less reliable. So I hope Shiny Shoes will be there because I kind of need him.
You don't have brisket.
What?
You don't have brisket?
They had brisket. Yes, but you had to buy brisket by the pound at Buc-ee's, and I'm not spending $17 so I can eat eat brisket. I just bought 2 eggs. And... No, seriously, Dylan and I had the most ridiculous meal on the hood of the car after Buc-ee's. I'm eating like hard-boiled eggs and like a stick of cheese.
Everybody wants brisket now, and then someone's wondering if your bathroom has venison pork sausage.
Well, the Buc-ee's bathroom didn't have that either. Yes, he was eating a chocolate pie. God. But I can say with eating how I have been dropping weight without doing any damn thing. So
good for you,
that's
man.
what you get when you sign up with promo code ACTION at iwtv.live.
One more. There you go.
You need the Damian Tangra promo light
cheap
to come
plug
out.
Light.
The cheap plug light.
So yeah, it was an incredibly successful weekend. We think that'll feed into Friday with getting, we've got, as we do every show, a chance to look at some new talent. There are going to be, we don't have our champion Eric Royal there. Ace God is very happy after beating Daniel Makabe after 3 years. And there is going to be some talent that are usuals that are not there. Well, that's so we can take a look, because we could have, even though on a Friday night show, usually we have 2 shows and up to 13 matches, we could easily book 25 matches from all the talent interested, and they would still be really good. They would still be action quality. Oh, yes, an Ace against Marcus Mathers, who is a H2O student of Matt Tremont, also available on iwtv.live. Matt Tremont's a good friend of the promotions, and he was on SCI in 2019. He had a good showing. Ace made an unannounced appearance. But May will be interesting, and we got something for May that we're going to announce in April, actually. And
Lot-
with
lot of
SCI
incredible-
coming up, that has basically drained several hours of my life in the last 2 days, just from everybody asking about it.
Well, we're happy to be a part of it. We're happy to be a part of Friday, and we were ecstatic to be a part of Have Fun, Be Sad. I mean, what a weekend! I don't think I've ever enjoyed watching wrestling as much as I did over this last weekend.
All I
It
saw,
really
Chris was tweeting throughout all of like Friday night and Saturday.
It was amazing. It was amazing, and I was jealous of Val, Tiffany, you, and Dylan, and everyone being there. And I say it, and I don't know if I mean it, but I never want to miss a WrestleMania weekend again. But
You do mean that, and you don't want to. You definitely don't want to. I mean, even this year with it being different, it's still a very unique time, and you guys were instrumental because I had I mean, it wasn't really a concept show, but I had this a very specific idea in mind, and the fact that you guys have been so supportive of action and my ventures with giving me my own damn show on your network is very much appreciated.
we have a network. I like that.
Ooh, the Bald Monkey Network. I like it.
Man,
Is it not a network?
It's going to be now.
Yeah.
Shit, now I gotta get a website. And...
T-shirt.
I should go like that before you can. But yeah, it's the WrestleMania weekend, because the only thing, I mean, basically in past years, just like this one, if you want it to be the only thing going on is wrestling, and independent wrestling is what everybody is into. There's really no casual fans there. I mean, I'm sure there are some, but generally everyone's a pretty much a hardcore fan. Um, we discussed briefly about should we drop the SCI news right before, so maybe we'll create a buzz, but we decided to do it right after so that it wouldn't get lost in anything else going on. And SCI weekend will be a good example for what WrestleMania weekend is like as well. Hanging out, and wrestling is the only thing that's going on. Which is funny because I didn't really get to take in hardly any wrestling at all, except on some of the ICW shows where I was doing a lot less than I normally might, but I was able to watch some of the matches a little bit closer.
I fell in love with the ICW stuff somehow. I always said I was not into that, and then just was glued to the television for the entire late hours of the evening.
When it's done right and you have the right intensity and the right people in the match, I was enthralled. I enjoyed all the ICW stuff because they essentially had 4 shows. One which was basically a long show with a break, and then with the Friday where they had the pit fighter break, and then came back 2 hours later with the pit fighter. I mean, it was basically a show 1A and show 1B, but that was all very it was all very good. And they had the death match with John Wade Murdoch and Eric Ryan. That was the best ICW match of the weekend. So it's like, if you're going to make it for a title and you're going to end your weekend, go out with the best match, and those two delivered.
Definitely good stuff. Well, sir, it's your show. Let us know.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to drop or plug or talk about, or are we good to sign off?
No, I think I'm pretty happy. You guys let me run my mouth for a long time. So, I'm glad we did choose this one as opposed to another time we chose, in between Have Fun, Be Sad and April 16th, so we could really talk about them both.
Yep.
So I'm excited for this weekend. I mean, Angels versus AC Mack and a Last Man Standing is a very, very legit big main event for us, and we have some other good stuff. So, but I would just say, please, even if it's just 10 or 20 minutes, go back and watch some action on iwtv.live, because just especially this month, having all those views and having all that interest would be huge. You guys as sponsors have to watch at least an hour every day.
It just runs in the background. I just leave it.
It really does. Like I start work in the morning and I just turn it on.
as long as you're watching, don't get me heat for doing stuff you should, but definitely be watching. I love to just have events on and in and out, and um, it's a lot of fun. IWTV, I mean,
Best $10 you could spend.
Yeah, and it has been huge to our growth. It has been really huge to our growth because we do have with we're still making money on shows that we put on the service a couple of years ago. Anytime somebody uses a promo code and stays a member, we get paid off of that. And those are things that are helpful, and it's a platform that I don't have to do anything but have my ace video guy Jose send the link, and they download it and then upload it onto the site. So it's a huge. If you're not into IWTV as an independent wrestler, I'm sorry, you're not scouting your opponents. You're not seeing what else is going on, and it's just a mistake.
True.
Well, Matt, thanks for the chat. I don't know, what do we got to plug, Chuck? So this is done. The Casey Cattell shirts are in the mail.
They're picked up. They're in the mail. The monkey shipping department, can I just say, did one hell of a job today. They came in and out the same day.
I mean, I whipped them into shape. They don't mess around. Now, we do still have Casey Cattell stickers on the site, so go check those out. And we do still have pre-orders and stickers for, I know you might not like this, Matt, but it's the Should Be comic cover.
It is a spectacular shirt and design.
I mean, look at that.
It is.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
So cool.
Please go check that out. You can check it out at thebaldmonkeys.square.site, or it's in the chat everywhere. It's all over our socials. And we got another one coming.
Next Friday.
Next Friday. And you might want to keep an eye on that one. If you like what you heard tonight, you might want to keep an eye out for that.
I don't have any idea what that means. I don't know who it is. I'm not insightful enough to be able to decipher any of the clues.
Mainly because you don't remember anything. But yeah, I think I actually might have even gave you a preview. But whatever, that's fine. Thanks everybody for coming into the chat. Thanks for the new subs. Thanks for everybody just hanging out. We appreciate it. I am gonna go send you Val. Thank you for gifting a sub.
Val, thank you.
Tinker Dive. Thank you, Val. Very much appreciate that. And I believe Val subscribed herself too. Again, Val's just double subbing on us right now. Thank you, Val.
Did Val find that sugar daddy she was talking about on Twitter today? Because Chris and I both need new laptops. I know I put that out there.
Yes.
So Val, get back to me.
We're putting it back out there, Val, about the sugar daddy and buying us laptops.
Yeah.
So, but thank you, Val. Thanks everybody in the chat. Thanks Cooper. Thanks John. Thanks Ron Bastu. I mean, all the people that hung out in the chat tonight, really appreciate it. Matt, thanks again for doing it. We will catch you guys on the next one. We have nothing planned, so we don't know what's next to even tell you and tease about it. But something's coming, and it'll be good.
Maybe next week. Who knows? Everybody, have a good night. Matt, thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go watch Law and Order.
Hey, it's good stuff. I love Law and Order.
Visit iwtv.live today to watch these great action wrestling events, plus numerous other archive shows from Action and other great independent promotions. Use code ACTION for a free 5-day trial. Don't miss out. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at The Bald Monkeys. Watch us live on our new Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TheBaldMonkeys.